Did the IRS just make your side hustle reportable? If you make over $5,000 selling online, this tax change affects you in 2024. The IRS just changed the reporting threshold for payment apps and online marketplaces. That $20,000 limit, it's now $5,000. Here's what you're going to need to know. Starting this year, PayPal, Venmo, eBay, Etsy, they're all required to report your earnings. Hit $5,000 in total sales, you'll get a 1099-K form. This affects what you'll file this year. Business transactions count, personal payments don't. Here's the thing, many casual sellers who never got tax forms before will start getting them. That holiday closet clean out on eBay, those craft sales on Etsy, if you're making over $5,000, they might now trigger a 1099-K. So in this video, I'm going to highlight a couple changes, high-level background around the 1099-K form. I'm going to show you a 1099-K form. I'm going to show you a QuickBooks file. I'm going to tell you what you need to do once you get this form. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, click the like button. Thanks again. All right, so changes to the 1099 filing requirements here in 2024. So just some quick background, as I mentioned earlier. The 1099-K form, it's a tax form that third-party payment processors like PayPal, Venmo will send this to businesses or individuals that were sold goods and services. So if you sold something on Etsy, you're going to get this 1099-K form from Etsy because you sold some goods. Or if you use Upwork, right, or use Fiverr and you sold services on there, you're going to get a 1099-K form. What happens is kind of the whole flow through of this is those payment processors will send you a 1099-K form. And if you get one, that means a copy is sent to the IRS. So it's kind of like the 1099 MISC form or 1099 NEC form. It's a tracking mechanism. So the IRS, so if you ever get one of these forms, the IRS knows you got this. It knows you earned this amount of money and expects to receive this on your tax return. So reporting threshold. So starting in 2024, this threshold was decreased from $20,000 down to $5,000. So in the past, if you sold stuff on one of these platforms and your total sales were less than $20,000 or 200 transactions, you never would have gotten this 1099-K form. But if you sold in 2024 here and your sales on these platforms were a minimum of $5,000, you're going to get this form. So for a lot of you, this is going to be new this year. Also, there's no minimum transaction count, where in years past, there was a transaction minimum of 200 transactions. As I noted earlier, the tax implications is this income that's reported in the 1099-K is taxable. So that's kind of the background on the 1099-K form. So here's some other items to note. The $600 rule. So you'll hear this talked about. The IRS made these, proposals back in 2023, and it was delayed, where the original changes stated that, all right, if you sold $600 or more, you're going to get this 1099-K form. Well, if you think about it, it's a very low threshold. So the IRS are going to be getting all these 1099-K forms, and that's a lot for them to process. So they delayed that threshold to 2024, where it's $5,000. Now, in 2025, that threshold is supposed to decrease even further to $2,500. And in 2026, the rule is now $600. Okay, so 2024, the threshold is $5,000. 2025, the threshold is $2,500. In 2026, the threshold is $600. So what does that mean? And I noted this earlier, and I get this question a lot. Well, I sold something for $1,000. I never got a 1099-K. Do I need to report that on my tax return? Technically, you do. So that's the long story short. If you did sell something and you got a 1099-K, you want to make sure you do the reconciliation, what I'm going to show you shortly here. So here are examples of third-party processors, right? Venmo, PayPal, Stripe, Cash App, Etsy, eBay, Uber, Lyft, right? So if you're a driver of Uber and you're getting paid from them, right? you're probably going to get a 1099K form from them. Okay. Amazon Marketplace, Kickstarter, GoFundMe. So GoFundMe, remember, if you're donating to this GoFundMe, that's not technically like a charitable organization. So if you're on there and you're getting these funds from these random people, GoFundMe is going to send you a 1099K, and that's going to be taxable to you. So if you raised a bunch of money for a cause, you got to be careful because that money is going to you. So you got to make some type of kind of reconciliation. We talked about Fiverr and Upwork. So now let's go to a 1099K, what the form looks like. So here's the 2023 tax form. It's got the person's name here. And then you can see here every single month that you got paid is going to be noted here. And if you had any income tax withheld on those transactions, which you can tell like Upwork or Fiverr to do that. But this is what the form's going to look like. And it's going to have a total amount, right? Here's the total amount and here's the amount that you got paid each month. Now, what you want to do is you want to take that and you want to go back and reconcile to here's an example of a QuickBooks file, right? So if you're doing this, and I can actually sort this here by month, because what you want to do is if you got paid and you're kind of reconciling all this is, all right, in July, this is how much I got from third-party processors. In August, this is what I got. In October, this is what I got. So if you got that 1099K, right, and you're using like an accounting software like QuickBooks, you want to reconcile the two, because if that 1099K shows that you made $100,000, but your QuickBooks file shows that you only made, $9,700, there's a huge discrepancy that you want to reconcile. Now, I've never seen that instance happen. Oftentimes, the 1099K is going to be less than what you kind of sold through your business. Now, if you're an individual and you got a 1099K, but you paid and received money through family and friends, and it was not a business transaction, you don't have to report that. Now, you got to follow the guidelines of all that because there's certain rules and regulations around that. But typically, if you're sending money to a family member and it's under the gift tax limit, you don't report that as income. But if you're selling goods or if you're selling services and you're getting paid for that, you got to report that as income. So, and if you're running a business, you want to be using an accounting software. Now, there's a lot of comments I've gotten in the past on these videos on the 1099K of, hey, I got paid, $500. Do I need to report that? Technically you do, but if you never got a 1099K, the IRS is never going to know that you got that $500. The only way that they're going to know is to say you get picked for an audit. If you get picked for an audit, they're going to look at your bank statements, right? They're going to see this $500. They're going to ask about it, and they're going to ask, why wasn't that reported? So you just got to be careful on all that. So that's the 1099K. As I noted earlier here, the changes here, it went down from $20,000 down to $5,000 here in 2024, okay? And then in 2025, it goes down even further, down to $2,500. That means if you earn $2,500 on one of these platforms, right, like a Venmo is going to send you a 1099K, and then another copy is being sent to the IRS. So this copy right here, one copy goes to you, one copy goes to the IRS. So if you get a copy and you're not reporting that in your tax return, right, the IRS, you're probably going to get a letter from the IRS saying, hey, you missed this income, or please explain it to me. But make sure you do this reconciliation though, because like I noted earlier, if you get a 1099K from Venmo and you got paid from your sibling or a family member for like $2,000 or $7,000, it was for some reimbursement, you shouldn't pay tax on that. So it's very important. Thanks again for watching.